It's a beautiful cold rainy day, and what better thing to do on one of those days is sit down and try a new product that I found when I decided to go onto Amazon and go nuts on their Prime Day that we had here a week or so ago. So that was cool. That nearly sent me broke. I saw these coloring pencils, and I'm not a huge fan of coloring pencils, but I made an exception because as I looked more into this collection, it sold me. Totally sold me. So this is the Black Widow wax colored pencils, and the edition is the first one. It is the first edition. There's actually a set of 3 that you can get. I will have the pictures to the others here. It's cool. One's got a scorpion on it, one's got a cobra. The one I was drawn to the most was this one because one of the colors, they are different colors in each set, and 2, it's got a red back on it. We have these here in Australia, and they are poisonous and they are terrible spiders. I've taken the plastic off because I just wanted to have a look, but what I absolutely love about these pencils is what you're about to see. They are black wood as well. So this one is called the Spider, obviously, the Spider wax coloring pencils. This is the selection of colors in this one, and this is another cool thing that I loved about these is they come with color names. Got all these spiders, it's got spiders in here, you've got tarantula, you've got huntsman, you've got like spider web as a color. The Black Widow obviously is the black pencil, amethyst, forget-me-not, starry night, everglade, toxic green, plum pudding, watermelon, toadstool, egg yolk, casper, stink bug, lemon, fang green, foxy brown, cicada pumpkin, cyanide pink, zephyr blue, banana, and ladybug. Like, that's a pretty cool selection of names for some coloring in pencils. So we'll cut this bad boy open and we'll see. We'll grab one of these pencils out and we'll have a look at them, shall we? Ooh, smell them. Oh, they smell nice. Oh, I love smelling new art supplies. Now I'm just looking. I honestly don't think they're in their name order. So we'll pull this one out. Pull the amethyst one out because that's my birthstone. So they're not a very weighty pencil. They're just a standard size pencil. They're all black. Even the wood is black. And you have the writing on them, the Black Widow. Then you've got the obviously the color number with the color name. And look at that, you got the cool little spider symbol on them too. So they're pretty cool. Like they're simple, they're light, but they just look cool because they're all black, and that's what sort of really drew me to this particular coloring pencils. Because I've sort of gone down the route of using coloring pencils again, I sort of really wanted to get a nice set. Now this set set me back $27 Australian, and it was not on a Prime Day deal, which shit me, but I got it anyway because I was able to get a whole heap of other things on special that I was stalking for a while. So it allowed me to incorporate that, so I could actually get this. Obviously what I want to do is I want to swatch these and see exactly what they look like, because I'm not going off of this, because we all know how that can pan out when you don't do swatches and you just go off of that. They're not entirely accurate. So what I'm going to do is going to write down all the names, and I'm just going to do them in the name orders here, you know, just to keep it simple. And then yeah, then I'll come back and we'll talk some more. I might take these out and actually put them back in as what the color has said on here. We have a nice array of colors. I wouldn't say that they are a dead ringer for these colors here. That's why you definitely use your own swatches with this sort of stuff. But yeah, they were soft. They were nice to use. I'm not a coloring pencil expert. I'm just going off of what I have used, because at the moment I'm currently using these Staedtler Super Softs, and if I had to compare, I'd say that they are definitely a softer pencil than these. Yeah, these 24 colors, they're all right. Like, the green's a bit fluoro. I wished it was a bit more like that. That's why I picked this particular palette, because I was going off of this here and they looked more muted than the other two palettes. So that, when I'm swatching them, sort of kind of disappoints me a little bit, because that's more of a fluoro green. Yeah, they're definitely brighter on here than there. But yeah, no, they were colors that I was more interested in than the others. They had like less of, you know, pinks and more other sort of colors, which you know, I don't do pinks, as you know. But yeah, no, I'm happy that I bought these, and they are quite, you know, they are quite a nice pencil to use. So far we're good. None of them broke while I was swatching. That's another good thing. Yeah, next thing to do is to actually test these in an illustration. So what I'm gonna do is ditching the watercolors for today, and I'm going to just purely color in an illustration with these coloring in pencils. But first I've got to design what I'm thinking of. Design an illustration that I can use with these coloring in pencils. Instead of using graphite for this illustration, I decided to use one of my Prismacolor Col-Erases in the color Terracotta. because I thought that it might be able to be hidden underneath the colouring in pencil if worse comes to worse, instead of lead or graphite coming through and you'll be able to see it. I didn't want to do that, so I went with a subtle colour first up, so I didn't ruin anything. Now with this illustration, for some reason I sort of tapped into a bit of an Alice in Wonderland kind of vibe. I don't know why, it just, when I started sort of sketching the idea for this picture, I just went straight to this this Alice in Wonderland, really sort of creepy, sort of robotic, cyborg type, psychotic illustration. And all it is, you have the rabbit, and the rabbit has gone completely, just completely rogue, because both Alice and the rabbit are, I don't want to call them Alice. I don't want to call it like a Alice in Wonderland piece, because kind of not. It's like just an inspiration sort of taken from that, and I was sort of feeling sort of going down that route for some reason. So I don't want to call it like this is Alice, because it's not. It's just a robot. They're both robots, and the rabbit has basically cut the girl in half, because this thing is like, they're both robots. The rabbit has gone nuts, and the girl character, she hasn't sort of lost her inability to sort of think straight. Even though she's a robot, she's still okay. She hasn't gone nuts, but the rabbit has, and the rabbit cut her in half, and she's trying to claw away, and she's trying to back away and push this crazy robotic rabbit off of her. But he's coming for her. He's not gonna stop until he has completely destroyed this girl, this robotic girl. And he's already cut one of his own hands off, as you'll see. I was gonna go with like a proper hand for the rabbit, reaching up and sort of grabbing some of her hair, but I sort of went, well, I want to portray the rabbit as a robot as well. So I decided to have his hand cut off with wires coming out of it to represent that. So that's the direction I went in for that. Now, I really enjoyed coming up with this illustration and trying to sort of think of what would work with colouring in pencils. And yeah, though I had a lot of fun with this, and I wasn't sure how this was going to go. And I was sort of thinking, when I sort of come up with the design, I was like, maybe I want to do this as a watercolor picture, but I sort of went, no, I'm going to challenge myself and just see how I go with colouring in pencils with this, because I haven't done something like this for a very, very, very long time. I actually do have an illustration that I did do back when I first started this channel. I did a complete colouring in. I think I was using the Norris colouring in pencils. I'll have that in a link up in the top right corner if you're interested to go back and have a look at that. I think I did that one late one night because I couldn't sleep. I can't remember, but it's a pretty old video, so it's just me. I think I was just dribbling on with shit and about life and my working life at that point in time and whatnot. So if you're interested, I will have the little thing above. Now I did the line art next because of the fact that it is colouring pencils. I didn't test this first because I tend not to do this. I tend to, as you know, I jump straight into the project. I rarely do any testing before I just do it because I like to, I don't know, it's kind of like maybe it's partly laziness, but it's also partly I want to see if I can make this work regardless. And sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But either way, if I don't make it work, or if I do make it work, I will show the different processes of, you know, of me failing, because like I said, I do like to show a lot of my failures as well as the good side, because I don't always produce stuff that is good. Like I don't do it. And if I don't produce something one week that is good, I still will put it up, because it's real. It's what happens. You don't always do perfect shit. And art is no exception, and any genre out there is all the same. Doesn't matter what you're in, you're gonna have shit days, and you need to accept that. And there's gonna be days where you're not happy with what you've produced. You hearing any grunts? The puppy's back there. He's grunting. He's so cute. Before I went off on that tangent, what I was going to say is I did the line art first, because of the fact that I am not sure whether or not I can go back over with the liners on top of the colouring in pencils, being so like a bit of a waxy sort of thing that they were. I wasn't too sure, so I did everything with the line art before I went in and coloured, which worked perfectly because of the fact that this they're transparent. They showed through the lines. I didn't have to go over it, so I was really happy. So yeah, it was a good choice, just in case, because things like that can clog up your liner. Like I have actually had colouring in pencils before. Most of the time I can go over the top, but there has been the odd occasions, and I can't remember which brand this was, so I haven't done it with any of the colouring pencils because I am afraid of, I don't know which one did this, but had clogged up my previous liners in the past. So yeah, that's why I did it. But like I said, I didn't research any of this. I just went straight in. And what I did first when I was up to the colouring stages was I went in with a, I think it was the tarantula colour. So it was like a browny black. And I put down all the shading. I put down all the shading first lightly as I could. Then went over with like a sort of, I can't remember the color name, so you'll have to bear with me, with that terracotta-y kind of color that I used for like the sketching. I sort of put that down to sort of give some color, different colors in her hair, and then I went over with the red pencil. Now this was the point where I wasn't sure how heavy I was going to go, and I didn't at this sort of point know what I was gonna do. So I sort of learnt with the hair. I really went saturated with the hair with some lighter tones. I went back over that to hide the lighter tones because I wasn't happy. And then I then went back over with the Black Widow, the black pencil, and then added more shading. So that's how I did it, because I sort of wasn't sure, I wasn't sure how to tackle it. So that's just how I did it. There's probably a million other ways. Like I said, if you're experienced with colouring in pencils, which I know a couple of you are, just leave a comment down below with the techniques that you do, and like give me some tips, because I don't Google a lot of things anymore, because that takes time. So I tend to just jump straight into everything. It's just how I operate. It's probably a bad way of doing it, but I'm not going to change. And I have said that in past videos. I'm not going to change the way that I do stuff. I'm too old to be changing my ways. But if I can learn other tips, hey, I'm open to that. I'll incorporate it into my bad habits. Because yeah, it's just, I just like to do things differently, and I know a lot of people can cringe at that, but hey, it's how I do it. If I find it works, sometimes it can be a harder way of doing it, and sometimes I will adopt, I can sort of put down a bit of a bad habit and incorporate something else on top of that. But yeah, like I said, not making a huge amount of sense now. I'm just gonna go on to talking about something else. I know that I saturated her skin a bit too much, so I ended up going back over with the eraser on the end of the Col-Erase and sort of picking up some of that colour and erasing some of it, especially in the parts where there would be light hitting her nose and her cheekbones and some of her forehead. But that's where I sort of learnt to colour in lightly first and then go in and then layer where was necessary. And this is where you see that applied to the rabbit now that I'm colouring the rabbit. I sort of, after I did her hair and her face, that's when I stepped back and went, okay, reevaluate. This isn't the look that I wanted. I wanted a bit more, you know, definition and all that, and some different sort of tones with the same color and color variants, and that's what I did. I went about it a completely sort of different approach, and I was very happy that I did that. So yeah. The thing that makes me laugh though is these two are both robots and the axe has got blood on it. So there's a little mystery for you right there. Obviously, not only has the rabbit gone psycho and was trying to kill this young girl, he's obviously gone psycho and killed humans around him as well. So, yeah, I definitely wanted to put blood on that axe and sort of let your imaginations run wild with what exactly has happened in this scene. What has he been doing before this part of the illustration has come about, where he's ready to finish off this young girl as she's backing back over the top of some mushrooms, and yeah, she's trying to get away. So yeah, like I said, very Alice in Wonderland feel, but I don't want it to be like a Alice in Wonderland, if does that make sense? So I went in and made these mushrooms because I really wanted her hair red. I just had to have that. I thought, well shit, what am I going to do the mushrooms? So I went with a sort of a gradient galaxy kind of feel with the mushrooms, and I feel as though it worked. I was quite happy with that, and that was a very sort of split decision. Like that was a snap decision, I should say, because I didn't sort of realize that until I'd done her hair and her hair was red, and then I'm thinking mushrooms are red, and I went, shit, what do I do? Then I went, oh, that's right, all right, we'll do a galaxy sort of gradient with the blue and the purple. And yeah, I feel as though that really did work. So I was very happy with that. So I did make her dress, well, the top half of her dress that you can see, sort of like the same color as what Alice's dress would be. But I really added some, like I said, because these two are robots, some really mechanical elements, like some of the stitches, the big metal stitches that you see on the front of her dress and on the sleeves. And yeah, I didn't sort of add that to her arms or anything, because I sort of wanted to sort of keep it like very cybernetic, and like she is, like these robots are very realistic and they're very human type, and sort of applied that to her clothes only to imply that she is a robot, even though you can see all the hoses coming out from her guts, which I wasn't happy with. Just using the metallic, the pencils. I had to go in with the metallic pens and the Uniball Signos, and I decided to use up as much as I could when I'm doing these colouring in pencil illustrations, that little bottle of white liquid pencil that I got in a scrawler box, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I thought I got to use it up. I don't like wasting things, so I put that on this illustration. And then I sort of had to, the areas that were a bit finer, I went back over with the Uniball Signo Angelic, which was a little bit smaller. And yeah, there you have it. that is my final illustration. I honestly did not know what to do with the background, and I still don't know. So that's why the background is just left the way it is. I had no idea what to do, but I know I just wanted these two characters to pop more than anything, so I sort of just left it with a few, you know, marks on it, with a few scribbles on it to put a bit of texture in there. But that is it. That is my final illustration. I hope that you enjoyed this, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!